My name is Richard. I work as a civil engineer. A typical day for me involves quite a bit of reading, codes and regulations. Project manager for a couple different projects, which mainly means doing a little research and getting information from clients, find out what their needs are. This is all as it pertains to civil engineering. Civil engineering, we do grading, drainage, utility work, some structural work. A lot of the things that you consider infrastructure, your roads, things like that, are done by civil engineers. I'm the discipline lead, which means that I manage the civil engineering department. So my work encompasses a little bit of all of that. My job, I work probably 50 hours a week on the average. It can be stressful at times, but it's probably no more stressful than any other job that you would take seriously. A PE is a professional engineer, which basically means that you're licensed. And to become a licensed engineer, you go to school for 4 to 5 years. Not many people graduate from engineering school in less than 5. It's pretty rare. But you'll go to school for about 5 years. You'll graduate. You'll work as an intern for 4 years. You'll take an EIT exam. Usually you do that your senior year. You'll take your EIT exam. You become an intern. You'll work for 4 years. Then you're eligible to take the PE exam. Some people take it several times. I'd say probably 2 or 3 times is probably the average number of times that people take it. So all in all, it takes probably 9 years or more to become an engineer from when you start, to become a professional engineer. You're still an engineer until you pass your exam. You're just considered an engineer intern. It's important to note that there's 2 different types of engineering schools. You have an engineering technology school, and you have an engineering school that's accredited by ABET. If you want to become a licensed engineer in a state and be able to stamp drawings, you need to attend an ABET accredited school. The technology schools, you learn a lot of the same things that you would learn in engineering school, but because they're not accredited, you will not be able to take the PE exam. Also, ABET is pushing toward a master's degree requirement, I understand, for future students that want to become PEs. I know it's in the works. I don't know what specific details are, but I think they're pretty serious about requiring masters for future engineers, and it does make quite a bit of sense. There's a lot to know. To make it through school, you have to be a little technical minded to begin with. You have to be pretty passionate about math and science, or at least have a great deal of tolerance for it, because you'll be fully immersed in both. That's probably the thing that weeds people out the most, math and science classes. If you're good in math and that's what you love to do, engineering might be for you, but you have to be able to get through some tough classes. They're the kinds of classes that nobody's good at naturally. Nobody's naturally good at those classes. You have to work hard. That's what it takes. As an intern, you'll wind up doing a lot of things that you didn't learn in school necessarily that pertain to your trade. Things like drafting, and you do some menial stuff, but it's not too bad. It's more along the lines of what you'll be doing. But it's just the things that you don't learn in school. Generally, you'll specialize as a civil engineer. Whether you do it intentionally or not, it'll happen. most civil engineers won't practice all different disciplines, which are, there's geotechnical engineering, which deals with soils. You have structural engineering. You have environmental engineering, water resources, and transportation. When you take your PE exam, you'll actually take a depth exam for one of those concentrations. And you'll naturally fall into one of those if you don't pursue it on purpose. It's difficult to learn all 5 disciplines really well. Plus, most businesses, I think, tend to concentrate on one or another. The best part about this job for me, I think, is knowing that I've worked very hard towards something that I feel very useful. My day is very rewarding. I feel that I've created something. Sometimes you get lost working in a drawing, and you forget about the scale. You look at something that's very small, and you're actually designing something that's actually hundreds of acres. And it's very rewarding to see it built and know that you designed it. There's other perks, but for me, those are the big things. I left another career to do this, and those things mean a lot to me, to be able to create things and use most of them, if not all, my abilities. Worst parts about the job would be stress at times. Sometimes you have clients that don't have realistic expectations of what it is that you need to do. You often wind up in disputes between clients and contractors, and sometimes legal disputes. I've been called as an expert witness to sit in court, actually to help resolve a dispute between 2 other parties. There's a lot of boring time spent reading codes and laws and regulations that I don't really care for all that much. Sometimes, depending on deadlines, you might have to work times that you really didn't want to work in order to meet a deadline. For anybody that would want to become an engineer, somebody young coming out of high school, suggestions that I could make would be, first of all, make sure it's something that you truly want to do, because you're going to need to commit yourself to it, starting with your freshman year. A lot of people will tell you that your first 2 years of college are all the same, but in engineering, your first 2 years are not the same as the other degrees. Amongst the engineering disciplines, they're very similar, but you have to be prepared to study a lot, starting with your first semester. Don't get discouraged. A lot of the classes that you take, nobody is a natural at. The people that get through it are people that work hard, and if you work hard, you'll do well. Doesn't mean you're going to do well on every test or every class, but you may fail something, but you get back up and study harder and get through it. It's like that for everybody in engineering. Be prepared to give up somewhat of a social life. You won't have as much extra time as other students have outside of class. A lot of your time will be spent studying to get through your classes. It gets a little bit easier your junior and senior year, not because the classes get easier. They're every bit as hard as they were before, but you kind of get into settled into a routine, and your study habits get better. They either get better or you change majors. It's hard work, but it's a good career, and I don't regret it at all. I've seen a lot of students that switch majors as they're going through college. It's just too difficult for some, and there's certainly no dishonor in doing that. That's why I think it's important that you make sure that that's what you truly want to do when you go in, so that you're not in a position to switch majors. If you enjoy math and science and you're willing to commit the time to it, then it's a good career. But if you're more of a person that wants more of a social life and more hobbies and doesn't want to commit a lot to study time, then engineering's probably not the best career choice.